or by asking questions or discussing things with those who do not know anything about it and increasing our confusion. That why I am so unhappy. The other fellow gives such reason that I become more unhappy. Yeah? So he says that why me? Why do I suffer? The other fellow says, why not you? You are the best candidate. Your face also is quite suitable for it. So that makes me more sad. So confusion we try to eliminate through our studies, through reading. Then we go into religion, we go into spirituality, we read books, we attend programs. We try to clear the confusion of our mind, of our intellect. The question why? We have to clear it. Otherwise the intellect will keep torturing us. That's like an intellectual suffering type. Then we have this great grief. We try to eliminate it by pleasures of this world, by wealth of this world, by various things. But grief doesn't go. Grief do not go by pleasures. Grief is forgotten for some time. Grief is suppressed for some time. Grief doesn't go. It remains and comes up. So this was very vividly revealed in a story form, in a dramatic way, in the first chapter and the beginning of second chapter also. So that is where humanity is at present, or individual we are at present. But what is the solution? The solution is given in the entire Bhagavad Gita. And very interesting. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan tells that the ultimate solution for all your problem of fear, problem of confusion, and problem of grief is in gaining the state of enlightenment, in realizing yourself. What is the connection? See, this self is indicated in our scriptures as having that nature. Its nature is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat, Chit, and Ananda. They are not three. Sat itself is Chit, and Chit itself is Ananda. Sat means pure existence. Existence per se. Pure existence. Chit means pure knowledge or pure state of consciousness. Please listen carefully. Pure state of consciousness or knowledge. And Ananda means bliss, free from all sorrow, all suffering, pure bliss. That is my nature. And not knowing this, my nature, gives rise to these three types of suffering. Not knowing my nature as pure existence, there is fear. Fear of death, fear of non-existence, fear of coming to an end, fear of becoming non-existence. Then there is, my nature is Chit, pure knowledge. Not knowing this, there is confusion. Confusion in various ways comes in our life. And my nature is that of bliss. Not knowing, not recognizing makes us seek freedom from our grief, makes us seek happiness. So, really speaking, when we are scared, what we are seeking is a state of eternity. When we are confused, we are seeking a state of absolute knowledge. And when we are unhappy, what we are seeking is a state of absolute happiness. So directly and indirectly, what we are seeking is our own self. See, whatever we do in this world, whatever be our profession, what we are seeking is something subtler than what the world has got to offer. World is offering us matter. World is offering us energy. World is offering us place and time and outer situation. But all this comes to us in the form of experience. The object comes into us as an experience. For example, some food is there, it will come to me as an experience. Situation comes into me as experience. And the ultimate experience which I seek is an experience of being eternal, experience of being all-knowing, an experience of being blissful. That is what I seek. That is what all of us seek. So Bhagavan understood the whole situation in which Arjuna was there, and he began his teaching by revealing him his own nature of this self. So we find in the beginning portion of this second chapter, again Arjuna's moha and his grief was revealed, but then Bhagavan began by revealing to him the nature of the self, which is, he said that there was never a time when you were not there, when I was not there, when all these people were not there. We were there before, we are now, and we will always be in future. The self doesn't get destroyed. It never gets destroyed. He says this body undergoes change and modification constantly. Antavante ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. This body is antavantaha, it comes to an end, means it changes, it modifies, it changes. But that Atma doesn't change. That Atma is na jayate na mriyate kadachit. It is neither born nor does it die. Nityash, ajo nityash shashvatoyam puranaha. It is ajaha, unborn, nitya, eternal, shashvat. It is nainam chindanti shastrani. It cannot be destroyed by any weapons. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be destroyed by water. Atma is my own nature. And this body is like the dress which I am wearing. At present, we have identified ourselves with our dress. We think we are our dress. Bhagavan says that life and death is like changing dress. We change our cloth, old one, and put a new one. Similarly, when one dies, so-called dies, we just discard one body and assume another body. But that Atma is like space. And this body is like the pots, different pots. So one pot is removed and another pot is taken up. And in that pot there is water, let us say. Those waters are like our mind and intellect, of different quality, different shape, different size. But I am that pure space, the space of consciousness, the space of existence, and the space of bliss. Like we chanted now in the invocation, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That is I. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jivve nacha ghrana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuhu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That is my essential nature. So Bhagavan tells Arjuna that you do not die. And body will anyway perish. Whether you fight or don't fight, the body will perish. The various reasons may be there externally, temporary, for the body to perish. but ultimately it will perish. So if you are not fighting out of fear, then that is not proper. You fight because this is the situation in which this body is there, so just perform whatever duties are there. So he told Arjuna the cause of his fear is not knowing his self, and if he knows that he is eternal, then there is no need for him to be afraid. Similarly, not only Arjuna, but all these beings who are there, they are the same self, eternal, indestructible. Tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Therefore, hey Arjuna, you get up and fight. Later on, Bhagavan gives some worldly reason for Arjuna to fight this war. He says that from the standpoint of your dharma as a kshatriya, you have to fight this war. If you don't fight, you have been such a great person, you are known in this world, you have become so famous in this world. If you run away from this battlefield, it will be a great disgrace. People will talk ill about you. They will say that you were a coward. Out of fear you ran away. They will never say that because of compassion you did not fight. So from the worldly standpoint, all your enemies will eternally talk ill about you. From the worldly standpoint also, Bhagavan revealed to Arjuna the reason why he should fight. But fight is just an incidental here. It is not the main purpose. Like Bhagavan is not advising all of us to fight. Incidental. Because Arjuna had come to fight and he got confused. So Bhagavan says, you continue. You continue with that. It's like a person is breathing. He stops. You say, no, you continue breathing. Now, as I said last time also, this second chapter of Bhagavad Gita has got 4 important topics. The first is the nature of our problem, which I said is what? Is fear, is confusion, and sorrow or grief. Second, it reveals the solution, and the solution is to know the nature of the self, to realize and recognize our own self, to reach the state of enlightenment. Reaching the state of enlightenment is not meant only for Gautam Buddha. It is not meant only for few Mahatmas. It is meant for everyone. Just like hunger, everyone experiences, and food is meant for all of us. Not that food is meant only for few people. Unfortunately, that hunger to gain that state of enlightenment is not felt intensely, or it is not recognized, but it is there. And only by gaining that state of enlightenment, we will be fully satisfied. Therefore, in Gita, Bhagavan reveals through all these shlokas the nature of the eternal self. Also, he says that yad jnatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Having known this self, nothing more remains to be known. So all the confusion of the mind also settles down. And about happiness also Bhagavan says, having gained this happiness, even the mighty sorrow will not disturb us. Yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Even the mighty sorrows or the things which might have caused sorrow doesn't bother, doesn't disturb this person, becomes free of all grief. So this is the second topic. The nature of the self is revealed. But one has to know